This is TWiT.
Steam users, gamers who really were thrilled by the idea of playing their desktop Steam games on iOS, bad news. You won't be able to. Apple has rejected Valve's Steam Link app. Now, I'm hearing conflicting reasons for it. Valve said Apple, which had originally approved it for release on May 7th, sent them a note saying, due to business conflicts with app guidelines, I'm not sure what that means, that the original review team had not seen. Valve appealed and has lost the appeal. I think Phil Schiller said, I don't know what. Phil said something.
They're working with Valve to try to...
Right, exactly.
We're going to fix it. What do you think the real reason is? Why is Steam Link being blocked?
There could be a lot of different categories here. There's content. There's the content itself, some of which is quite explicit because it is an open.
Yeah, but it's a game I already own on my desktop.
But that
I already bought it.
That,
so who are you protecting me from?
We've seen this play out so many times before. I remember the early days of content controls in the App Store, where you say, well, the reason that someone could actually visit a website off of this app, and that website might have explicit content on it, and for that reason,
you can maybe justify. But this stops me from playing a game on my desktop that I already bought and own on my iPad.
What I'm saying is that I think this was a level one or level 2 kickback, and then once the company has an open and frank discussion with Apple, then people who are a lot more poised to make nuanced decisions take a look at it. I think this will get wrapped up. I think part of it might be simply membership fees. Part of it might be the idea that it is the Steam's big thing is that, well, this is just like any other like VNC sort of app. All we're doing is we're opening a connection to a remote computer. I'm sure it's not as dire as that. I think they made a huge tactical mistake by saying that, they're banning us because it's an incompatible business sort of thing, which would invite people to think, Apple doesn't want competition from their own games in the App Store, when actually it's probably nothing like that. So we'll hold tight for a month. I'm sure it'll get settled out very quickly.
I think the business conflict was that there were in-app purchases that Apple didn't get 30% of is actually what it was.
We could wind up with a Comixology sort of thing where the app will be there, but it will be impossible to make purchases. I think the original version, there was possible to make purchases on your Steam account where the money wasn't going through Apple somehow.
Yeah, it actually required kind of a hackery workaround by the end user.
Well, this is the way Audible works, right? You have to buy your book
on the website.
Web page,
which makes it much less useful than the Audible on Android, where you can buy it directly.
It's so annoying. Like you go, I want a book, and it is now go to your web page, and you're like,
and that only applies for digital goods, not for real life goods. There's no whole prohibition on real life.
Here's Schiller's email, which was posted on Reddit. Unfortunately, the review team found that Valve's SteamOS iOS app, as currently submitted, violates a number of guidelines around user-generated content. Maybe that's the adult stuff. In-app purchases, content codes, etc. Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe it doesn't reflect the content code. Although, again, it only lets you play apps you own on your desktop.
There's weirdness with Apple too. Like I know a lot of games that have coupon codes that you can type into the game to get. You can't run those on iOS the way you can on Android. They just don't have that system in place. I think these things usually end one of two ways. It's usually like Apple has made some dumb decision and then they walk it back. Or there's something going on that we're not immediately aware of. There's some, the connection's not as secure as Apple wants it to be. Right. Or there's some possibility that a kid will buy something they shouldn't buy, and then Apple will be in the middle of a litigation lawsuit. And either way, it tends to get wrapped up pretty quickly. Like
I think I'm going to guess that Apple's going to continue to work with Steam to figure this out until Steam gives up.
Yeah.
No, like I don't,